Hey everybody, thanks for watching. The scene that you're about to watch, it had to be cut from Never Go Back. The scene takes place early on in the movie, actually the first night that Oliver and Dave are in the woods. It had to be cut because the audio was lacking really bad, like really bad. We shot Never Go Back in chronological order because of hair growth, loss of body fat that the characters see as the story progresses. So we were on a pretty tight schedule. We had to get everything in, in each weekend for that month, and then let a month go by so hair could grow out, weight could be lost, and then pick it up the next month. If we missed a day, that could potentially put us back a month. And I say that to say that we had to rush this scene against our better judgment. When we weren't able to get it on location as when we were originally out in the woods because it was storming Florida like it is now. It started raining on us, so we pushed it back to the next day. The unfortunate thing was that Ben, the actor who plays Dave, he ended up having to have a cancerous tumor removed from his face, a surgery. If you notice in the scene, he has his head on the pillow the whole time. It's hiding a surgical mark, scar, and bandage that he had on his face. On top of that, he was still dosed up from the surgery, what they put him on in the hospital, plus the pain medication that they had prescribed him. So he was on quite a bit of pain medication while this was happening. Those two things combined, not being able to lift his head off the pillow and being so dosed up, he wasn't able to get the dialogue out. Amazingly, he was able to remember these long ass lines, but he just wasn't able to get the words past his lips audibly. The other thing is that we actually shot this in my living room. We set the tent up in the living room and shot this. Just a funny anecdote to keep in mind while you're watching it. The scene it has some of my favorite dialogue in the movie. I love the comparison that Dave makes about the coyotes that they're hearing out in the wilderness. And the other reason why this scene is special to me is that it is taken directly out of a memory of my life. Dr. Jones, the dude who scored this movie, so him and I were out in the woods and pretty much experienced this with very little exaggeration, just sitting in a tent and hearing these coyotes that were seemingly growing in numbers and gathering closer, were probably just passing through and knew nothing of us. So it you know, I like the dialogue in it, and it's near and dear to my heart, the content. So I didn't want it wasn't good enough, technically speaking, to make it in the movie, but I didn't want it to just get lost forever. So put some subtitles on it, and now you can understand what's being said, and the scene will live on in some respect. So enjoy this scene that will never be seen in the actual movie of Never Go Back. Thank you very much.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Sounds like coyotes.
Doesn't sound like there's more of them.
Yeah. They're coming closer.
How is it that we come out here every year to camp and everything seems peachy? But the first night that we decide to call this home, we got fucking coyotes gathering around us. On the first night.
I don't think they could bother us.
Sounds like they're surrounding us.
They're just moving through.
What's funny?
It just amuses me, and I'm guilty of it too. It amuses me that we think the world revolves around us. Same as society. Something happens on the other side of the world. And we unnecessarily wrap our heads around it, trying to create a connection between what it has to do with our lives. We are coyotes in the distance, just moving through, thinking a damn thing about us. And yet we sit here in fear, convinced that they are inspiring a plan that revolves around us. Terrorists around don't even know we exist. And neither do the Coyotes.
Yeah. Everything's connected.
Oh, God. Go to bed.